Hey, my visionaries. Welcome back to another chapter, another video of when we're going to be chatting it out. Like I said in my two other videos, I'm just gonna do one takes. Nothing really planned, nothing scripted. I'm starting to kind of, last night woke up around, it might have been 2:22. And a lot of people have said that, if you wake up, in the 2-3 o'clock hour and you do that continuously, then your spirit is talking to you that, there's change coming. It's a good thing. And you really should get up. And I should have gotten up. Because I couldn't really fall back to sleep. Fell back to sleep finally around 6 o'clock, and that's when my little baby decided that she was going to get up too. So, she's napping now, so I'm in the backyard in nature, reconnecting. It's nice to hear all the nature sounds. You got the other yard sounds, people mowing their lawns and stuff like that, but it's nice to know that people are out here enjoying it, reconnecting with the world. One of the things that was kind of on my mind last night when I woke up was starting to think about, at least having, a guidepost for each video that I want to do, because there's so many things that I really do want to talk about and get out there, because everyone has had their own unique experience, their own unique path, and mine certainly is different, which makes it no different than others in their walks and their paths. We all kind of have our own little meander, and one of the things that came up that I knew that I wanted to talk about, among a million other things, where I've been on this, reawakening journey, it's expectations, the view of expectations, and, having some is not bad, but it's kind of like the Greek word hubris. It's kind of a thought, even almost a phrase, where it's nothing in excess, and meaning, you can have, and I was talking about this to my youngest boy, that you can have many things, most things, but when it becomes excessive, that's when it starts being a problem. You can have lots of popcorn and fatty food, or you can have fatty foods and popcorn and butter and that kind of stuff, but when it becomes excessive, that's when you happen to fall into, having heart disease, or, high cholesterol and that kind of stuff. So, same thing with, he was talking about smoke from fires. And, smoke from fires when you're camping, just how we used to do it, it's not really a big deal. But when it becomes excessive, like in our industrial age, when we haven't really crossed over to clean energy, and a lot of people, kind of argue that, but I do believe that there's a balance, and we have not really done our part as part of this world, part of, the children of this world, to keep it in balance. And we're supposed to, be smart enough to do that. And we really haven't. We've done some really dumb stuff with the environment. Back in the 80s, when I was a kid, they had all of these, what do you call them? They had all of these, like, commercials and videos, and it was this big deal about the rainforest and, killing the rainforest, not a good thing. Lungs of the earth. I remember going to a science museum, and they had this meter, and it was this really cool, I thought it was so amazing back then. It showed a picture of the rainforest, and it showed as the years progressed, like, you know, a projection, and how if we went at the same rate, that how much it would get smaller and smaller and smaller, and, you know, it showed a number about, you know, how the oxygen would deplete and the CO2 would, you know, increase because of that. And I thought it was amazing. However, it kind of like fell off the bandwagon. I actually, when I was a little bit older, it was important to me. And, you know, I'll probably go into this with other videos having to do with like religion, because that was another thing I wanted to talk about. But I'm definitely a spiritual person. I kind of, you know, consider myself a Christian. But I've also been Buddhist. I study Hinduism, and my big thing that has always grounded me, that has always been most important to me, is actually from my dad's, you know, family culture, the Native American side of our family. You know, that spiritualism of connecting with the earth and keeping that balance. And so when I was older, I actually ended up buying an acre of the rainforest. You know, you filled out a certificate and you sent in money, and it went to protecting, you know, an acre of land. And I was super proud of myself for doing that. It was something that it's like, I'm doing something. I'm not just sitting back and on the sidelines, shrugging my shoulders, going, oh, okay, well, that's it. Kidding off slightly topic here. Back to expectations. You know, there are a lot of, and that all went with hubris. Wow, we came a long ways, didn't we, friends? But with expectations and hubris, you know, when you become having expectations and then you think of them as set standards, that's when it becomes excessive. So it's been on my mind, and children in general have been on my mind recently, ever since I gave birth to my daughter. That'll be another episode, I'm sure, too. All the moms and pops that, you know, want to connect with another one's story to add to their wisdom, collective wisdom. But she had a lot of, she had to have life-saving surgery, day 4. Otherwise she would have died. Simply put, her esophagus was not attached. It's a very long name, esophageal fistula, which was a part of a bigger thing that she was on the most minor end, which we were so thankful for. She is so blessed. I thank the universe every day for blessing her and to continue to bless her, because she is truly blessed. And it's an acronym, VACTERL. We go by Bacteril. It's a very long name. But that'll be for another story. And so you know, children have been on my mind, expectations have been on my mind. And recently, I'm having to renew my teaching license soon. Next year, it's coming up. And so I had to watch this module, this video kind of thing, where you go through videos, answer questions, and it was on, you know, child abuse. And one of the things that stuck out to me, now I barely made it through this, guys, seriously. I wasn't even looking at the screen, because I definitely am an empath. I was feeling for these children, and it made me cry. Literally, it was crying. Tears down my face. So, one thing that really stuck out to me and has been on my mind is the fact that there was, you know, an expert on child abuse, and she had a counselor. She'd been working with children from abusive situations. She said that the majority of the cases come from when the parents have these set expectations of their children that are unattainable at their age. And she had said, such as they are not eating fast enough. They're not doing something well enough. And that struck me. It struck me on a few different levels. One, having those set expectations where they are considered standard. Like, this is the way it's done. And that is in that hubristic level. It's too far. It becomes excessive then, and that's when it's destructive. The other thing that it made me think about was all of the limiting beliefs. When I was going through some of the master classes about, reawakening yourself and improving you on the mental, spiritual level, to open yourself up to, but bigger and better things, and being okay with it. A lot of us aren't okay with it. We don't think that we're good enough. We don't think that we're smart enough. And that was one of the things that was said, that the majority of people, when they have those limiting beliefs, they're set subconsciously from our theta, like I had said previously, from our theta brain state. When we don't know, why things, it's just stuck in there. And then we get older and it's in our subconscious. And that's where limiting beliefs comes from. But the majority is when we don't think we're good enough. We don't think we're smart enough. We don't think people will like us enough. And when I heard that about the child abuse, even if, children that technically really aren't abused, I think a lot of parents have these expectations, and they're meaning well. Don't get me wrong. I did it myself with my own children, especially my firstborn, where you make all the mistakes and you're like, later on, oh my gosh, I'm the worst mom ever. Don't beat yourself up. We do the best that we can. But to hear that the majority have that, I'm not good enough, and then hearing from that, child abuse expert that abuse is when we set those expectations of, you are not chewing fast enough, you are not doing something well enough, and then they get frustrated. It's a line between, someone getting frustrated and taking them out physically or mentally, versus someone that's, going to get frustrated and say stuff and, still be nice about it. There's a cross, but you're still in that theta state. You're still not going to really know. And you're still going to think of yourself as not good enough or not, smart enough, anything. Kind of like what I shared in the last video. If you watched it, you can go to I'm just posting these straight from my cell phone, guys. I'm not doing that thing where I'm keeping myself blocked off. I have to have this. I'm just getting on here and I'm putting the message out. I don't want to stop myself anymore from doing this. But I had a previous experience in my childhood where they were just making a joke, it was nothing abusive or anything like that, where, I was naive, and, they were making one of those little sassy teenage jokes, and, thinking, oh, the ingredients aren't on my bottle of Mystic. Here's the bottle, and I found it, and I thought I was so special. And then, to find out you're not special, that you just fell for a trick, you think about, that's when that limiting belief sunk in, and I had no filter then. So I'm like, I'm stupid. I shouldn't trust people. Why did I fall for that? I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. It doesn't have to be an abusive part, but it made me think about it. It definitely put that thought in my head about the expectations that we have for our children. So, be careful with that. Definitely when you're having children, especially your first one, because you're super, you've never done that before. Not in this life, at least. Have that go on YouTube channels, especially, see other people's story, add to your, your personal wisdom, the collective from the collective wisdom. Read some parenting books, and then take it and toss it out the window, because your child, just like every other child, is unique, and they're going to do stuff at their own accord. You don't need to, and I pray that this meets the ears and eyes of some people that may have come from an abusive childhood, so they are more prone to be abusive themselves and not realize it. That's also it's a cycle. So some of these people aren't necessarily to blame because they have not woken up yet. So I pray that this does meet the ears of someone that it could truly benefit. But if you think they're not chewing it fast enough, you don't need to and put bruises on their little cheeks. You don't need to, if one thing that I was guilty of with my firstborn, I loved him so much and I wanted the best for him, and I thought he was so smart, because he was. And I didn't really know it until I got to my third child. But I also didn't realize that I had way too high of expectations for him. And that is probably because my own childhood, there was some really high expectations. I got filtered into, like, I have to be perfect or otherwise I'm no good. And it kind of trickled down to him. It's that cycle. It doesn't have to be abusive. It could be something like that. But I remember, and ever since I started, I think it was around 5 or 6, I started my reawakening journey. And I prayed and prayed that he still was in that theta, that he was going until 7, because I still had a couple of years to kind of rework some of the mistakes that I did myself. But I remember he was in preschool, and he was writing his name, and the teacher made him write it so much. And, me being a teacher, I'm like, you have to do this because your teacher wants you to do this. But his little body, his own self, found it exhausting. And that's pretty typical. Like, he was pretty bright, but, like, socially, that's pretty normal. He was socially normal. He was atypically bright, but socially normal. And, he'd get exhausted, he would start, just not caring and doing his stuff like blah, blah, blah. And I would get so mad, like, no, you always have to put forth your 100% effort. And he would start crying, and I'm like, nope, no more tears, nope, you have to do this. You're gonna do it right, or you're not gonna do it at all. Of course, he was gonna do it. And looking back, I think to myself, what in the world? That little boy was tired and crying. He needed a break. He didn't need to do that. He wrote his name enough. He wrote literally all the letters, especially when I had my second one, who now he's going into 5th grade. His handwriting is still not as good as what my firstborn was in preschool. So, you learn stuff along the way. That's why you've got to be careful with those expectations. Because in any walk of life, whether it be your children, whether it be for yourself, when you have that set expectation and it becomes like a standard where it's hubristic, it's gone too far, that's when it's going to start hindering you from doing, greater things. Almost like these videos. It had been on my mind for so long. I wanted to speak out. I was watching these inspirational guys, and, Ralph Smart, again, shout out to you. Aaron, shout out to you. Even Vegetable Police, love you. And a part of me is like, I've got a lot to say. I would love to do this, but hashtag limiting beliefs. And then those mental blocks, I've got to have a professional microphone. I have to have a professional camera. I'm not going to have those expectations that are so high that are going to keep me from doing what I should be doing. Again, it's been liberating to do this. I don't know if it's just because it's like a video diary for me or what. I don't know, but it's been nice knowing that it could, and hopefully I pray it does reach someone who it needs to. because even when I sing, because I sing with my church now just low-key, because I chose that was not going to be the life for me. When I started touring when I was younger, I had people come up to me that I did not know, and it really made me uncomfortable. And I realized, I love singing. I do know I have a great voice. It's not because I'm trying to be like huffy, but it touches a lot of lives. However, I just want to do it where it's comfortable, that it is comfortable for me. I don't want like to go on the road and have all these people and become like exploited or exploit others and just become egocentric. I just wanted to do it, and I prayed every time that when I sang, it touched someone's life, it touched somebody's heart, and it made a difference. And if I did that for just one person, then it was worth it. And call me the girl on the shore with the sea stars or starfish, whatever. It might be 100, and it seems like it doesn't matter, but you hope that one starfish, and it does. It makes a difference. So be careful of your expectations, guys, because, they can push you or they can pull you down. It's that tightrope, I guess that might be it for today. I hope you can take something away from this. Until next time, peace, much love. Bye, guys.